Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob, and this video, you know what this video is. You know what it is? I know what it is. It is the 2018-2019 Godzilla March to the King 3, March to the King of Monsters. We are finally here. We are 36 weeks away. I know that's a long time, but that's okay. That's all right. That's why every week you can come here to E.T.N. and you're guaranteed minimum one Godzilla video. And in this series, we're going to take a look back at all the Godzilla movies and discuss what are, in my opinion, some of the greatest moments in each movie. Let's do it. Alright guys, welcome back. Do not get too attached to that intro because I might have to change it depending if they hit me with copyrights. But we're finally here and I'm very excited to have this video and this series started. And you know we're going to start from the very beginning. The very start of this iconic fictional character / monster that we have all grown to love and adore throughout the years. And that is Godzilla 1954. Now, looking back into this movie, one thing that all fans agree on is that it is probably still remains to this day the best Godzilla movie ever made because it's a solid story. It's got a great message, and Godzilla represents something that pretty much every person in this world fears at some point or another. And looking back on this movie, you could grab many, many parts of Godzilla 1954 and you could sit there and you could really break it down and make a very good argument as to what the greatest moment in this movie is. I mean, from the time that he attacks Tokyo and he's breaking through the electric towers that they built to try and defend against him, and he breaks through that. The moment that he's just rampaging through the city. There's one particular scene I remember that they don't even show Godzilla. They just show the city and all the destruction. And there's just this wave of fire going through the city. And even in black and white, even such an old scene, you know, such an old movie, it still just looks devastating. And if some of you have been here for a while, you know that some time ago, I actually spoke to my mother in a video because one of the things I always remember her telling me when it comes to this movie was it scared the living daylights out of her. She said she had never been so scared in her life than when she first saw the original movie when it first came out. And, you know, you got to imagine back then, I mean, those were top-notch special effects, what they did there. So something like that, imagine looking at that and it seeming so real. And she gave her almost like a review of the movie and what scared her and things like that. And when you look through the movie, there are some really scary scenes. I mean, when you there's that one scene with the mother and her two kids that is just dreadful. You know, it's just a dreadful scene. So, you know, you got the iconic scene earlier in the movie where he comes up from the mountain. You guys saw I picked it for the intro. Another great moment, another great scene. But what I decided to choose for this movie actually does not even involve Godzilla in terms of seeing him. It's actually an exchange and a couple of lines from the movie that I thought were a great representation of what Toho and Japan were trying to say with Godzilla 1954. And I'm going to actually read those lines because I thought that these lines were very powerful. I thought they had a lot of meaning when you think at the time that the lines were spoken during that time. So many years removed from Hiroshima and things of that nature. I thought that these lines in the movie between Dr. Serizawa, Hideto Ogata, I said that right, okay. And then one final line by Hakase. I don't want to try and say his first name because I'm going to butcher it. I thought these series of lines were the best moment in the movie because it really gives you an idea of just how important this was to Japan, how important of a message they were trying to send, and really gives you an idea of the struggle they went through in the aftermath. And this aftermath was something that lasted years beyond this first movie. I mean, we all know that the radiation poisoning that they had to deal with so many years after the bombing, I mean, that was something that lasted 30, 40, even up to 50 years. So the lines are like this. And this starts with Serizawa. If my device can serve a good purpose, I would announce it to everyone in the world, but in its current form, it's just a weapon of horrible destruction. Please understand, Ogata. I understand, but if we don't use your device against Godzilla, what are we going to do? Ogata, if the oxygen destroyer is used even once, politicians from around the world will see it. Of course, they'll want to use it as a weapon. Bombs versus bombs, missiles versus missiles, and now a super weapon to throw upon us all. As a scientist, no, as a human, it's like such an epic line. As a human being, I can't allow that to happen. Am I right? Ogata, then what do we do about the horror before us now? Should we just let it happen? If anyone can save us now, Serizawa, you're the only one. If you use the device to defeat Godzilla, unless you reveal what you have done, who will know about it? Ogata, and this is Serizawa, humans are weak animals. Even if I burn my notes, the secret will still be in my head until I die. How can I be sure I won't be forced by someone to make the device again? And then, of course, we know later on in the movie, Serizawa sacrifices himself. He basically takes his weapon and the knowledge that he has of making the weapon to his grave. He destroys Godzilla, destroys himself, and with it, the oxygen destroyer. And that is the ultimate sacrifice. And that exchange between these two characters is so on point. You know, we often talk about humans being weak animals, and I don't necessarily think it's a matter of being, well, yes, weak in the sense that we are tempted by power, you know, especially on a grand scale when it comes to governments and you know, politicians. You know, we also talked about the space race, right? That was a big deal when we were all growing up as kids. The Cold War, the arms race, you know, who can get the most powerful weapon first and be prepared to use it if necessary. America's been involved in this. You know, Russia obviously has been involved in this. China to an extent now. China and the United States right now are in a race to get the greatest, you know, online tech, who can hack the best and stuff like that. So it's amazing that the line in that section of the movie and the person who wrote that dialogue was kind of ahead of his time, you know. But I think that's what happens when you experience something so devastating. You know, it's one thing for the United States to see it or other countries to see the devastation, but it's another thing to live it. And I think that message and what they were trying to get clear, what they wanted people to understand, was so well written in that exchange. And then finally, the last part that I want to include is this one. This was the last line of the movie. I can't believe that Godzilla was the only surviving member of its species. But if we continue to conduct nuclear tests, it's possible another Godzilla might appear somewhere in the world again. And knowing that Godzilla is a metaphor for the nuclear bomb, basically, we all know what that means. You know, you keep testing, you keep, you know, messing with this kind of technology, this kind of power, it's only going to lead to more devastation. Now, thank God, since that time up to this point, we've never had to deal with another, you know, nuclear attack. And hopefully it stays that way. But the potential is always there. There's always the potential for a greater weapon. There's always the potential for some madman, or even us here in the United States, to almost be forced to use such great power should another enemy try to harm us, you know? So that to me is probably the greatest moment in this movie, was the exchange between Serizawa and Ogata, and then later on, the last line in the movie by Hakusei. And it just really, and again, in a movie with so many great scenes involving Godzilla, with so much great special effects at the time, you would think you could literally pick so many moments in this movie. But I really wanted to take, in my personal opinion, because I want to hear what you guys are going to think, But in my personal opinion, this exchange, these lines in the movie have such great meaning. They carry so much weight. And I thought it was one of the best moments in Godzilla 1954. With that said, why don't you guys tell me what you consider to be the best moment in Godzilla 1954? Please leave your comments in the section down below. And we will return here next week with another greatest moment in the next Godzilla film, which is Godzilla Raids Again. Might have to pop through this one a couple of times to find one. But nonetheless, we will find a great moment in each movie from now to the end of this series. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comment section. Until next time, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Or you can click here to become an E.T.N patron. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.